Actually, I wouldn't say that like the role the business intelligence analyst leads to a significant decision, but I would rather say that the impact comes from maintaining the data systems that enable the business to make reliable decisions every day. So a lot of the value we create is not always visible, like compared to like started like project manager team, but I think it's essential. So sometimes my colleague and I would joke that then if all of us quit the job at the same time, the company wouldn't function because they don't have a concrete proof. Yeah.
Yeah, especially e-commerce.
Yeah, and they run really fast. So they need to make a fast decisions to catch up with competitors like Amazon and TikTok. And if they don't have like the data,
Mm,
like customized data, they're like, oh, what should we do?
mm. Everyone, this is Beyond the Office, and today is really special because I have a good friend of mine who has a career path that I think you guys gonna be really fascinated about. It is the world of business intelligence analyst, and she is Amy. And Amy, can you come in and introduce
Hi,
yourself?
my name is Amy. So I'm a good friend with Sokong since 2013, I guess. It was a long
Yes,
time
yes, it's been
ago.
12 years.
So I studied at the University of Minnesota and double majoring economics and statistics. And then I
Mm-hmm.
realized that statistics is a good tool to understand not only economics but other fields. So I decided to pursue
Mm,
master degree in statistics. And after graduating from the master
mm,
degree, and I worked in Sweden for 4 years. I worked in H&M, and then I worked in a bank called SEB for about 3 years. And then I moved back to Korea a couple of years ago, I think. And then now I'm
okay.
working in a company called Shopee, which is a Singaporean company, but in a Korean branch office. So currently I'm working as a business intelligence analyst, working with lots of stakeholders at the same time. Yeah. So that's my brief. Yeah,
So, so basically, you move three
exactly.
different countries.
Yeah.
Yes, three different countries. You study
Mhm.
master in the United States. Did you get a part-time job there? I
I
didn't remember.
Yeah, I worked as a graduate assistant while I was pursuing master degree. So I was
Okay,
grading
okay, okay.
homeworks
Mm, mm,
for
mm, mm.
statistics undergrad. And then I also did
Wow.
a couple of
And then
internships,
move to
yeah, in the
Sweden
US,
and
yeah.
then move back to Korea. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Wonderful. So, Ames, in simple terms, how would you describe your role as business intelligence analyst?
I think that the role of business intelligence analyst can vary depending on the company. So if you search like a job description for the business intelligence analyst, you'll see it can be a bit different. So, but in general, I would say that the role the role is mainly helping stakeholders to test their ideas or assumptions using their
Mm,
data. So, for example, when someone in the business wants to
mm,
know whether their hypothesis is correct, for example, like
mhm,
if if they spend more spending on the paid ads, it will increase the revenue. So they have the idea, but then they don't have a concrete proof. So they approach
mm,
us and ask us to extract the relevant data for them. And usually
mhm.
yeah.
So it's
I-
yeah,
So
continue, continue.
and then usually the data is very huge, messy, and hard to access. So that's where a business intelligence analyst shines in the company.
So it's like they have some hypothesis about certain cause and
Hmm.
effect in business, but they would need intelligence uh, of the data because data are just, numbers, but they have to have someone who can make make meanings
Mm,
of those number.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, understand the patterns and then draw conclusion from that data.
Yeah.
Did I
I
get
think
it
you got
right?
it perfectly. Yeah.
I'm so fascinated about data, big data and everything, but I was in what human resources management, so it's more like on
Mm,
the social science, not
mm.
mathematics, not biochemistry like Amy and so like Eileen and so on. So, can you also tell our audience why is the BI or business intelligence analyst role is so critical to a modern company? Like, what would happen if a company didn't have a strong BI team?
I would say like today's companies generate massive amounts of data, and it can range from sales or like website traffic, like customer reviews, and maybe like logistics and more. So for example, I'm working in an e-commerce company, and the main data with order information is by the each order ID level.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like I'll give you a specific number. So I'm working in a Korea branch
Yeah, yeah,
office,
please.
and it generates like 60,000 orders per day usually. And then it's only like a 2% of revenue of the whole company. And then imagine the whole data in the company. And six
2%, 60,000 is only
yeah,
accounting for 2% of the whole revenue. Wow, that's like you cannot imagine how big
exactly.
the whole
So
data
that's
is,
what I
right?
said. The raw data itself doesn't help anyone. So the BI analyst turns the data into
Yes,
more
correct.
condensed information, like more condensed and customized, so they can make like actionable decisions.
Can you give me an example of a time that data analysts lead to a significant or surprising decisions
Mm.
for the company that you have worked
Actually,
for?
I wouldn't say that like the role the business intelligence analyst leads to a significant decision, but I would rather say that the impact comes from maintaining the data systems that enable the business to make reliable decisions every day. So a lot of the value we create is not always visible, like compared to like started like project manager team, but I think it's essential. So sometimes my colleague and I would joke that then if all of us quit the job at the same time, the company wouldn't function because they don't have a concrete proof. Yeah.
Yeah, especially e-commerce.
Yeah, and they run really fast. So they need to make a fast decisions to catch up with competitors like Amazon and TikTok. And if they don't have like the data, like customized data, they're like, oh, what should we do?
Can you give me an example? I just want to understand. For example, customer A, like me, like I order like 10 things
Mm,
from the company, right? And 10 other customer all the different things. How do the data, this is raw data, right? Because when we just type in, no, I order this 10 item, the other order 5, the other order 15. Those are just raw
mm.
data, right?
So so
Am
I
I correct?
actually
Yeah,
it's
yeah. And then,
yeah, I think like for
and
example, let's say you ordered something, but then you ordered item A and item B, and actually there'll be
okay.
two rows in the data set because you ordered different items.
And then how does that put together, populated together the data? How does that interpret into some things that the company need to
Um,
think? Maybe an
It
example.
depends on the stakeholders' need, but usually they would want to see the like historic
Okay.
trend of like historic trend of like certain shops like order and like a revenue, or maybe sometimes they can try to catch like or they or like they may I think there are some sellers like with having problem with intellectual property, so maybe sometimes they ask us to track those like anomalies in the data, yeah. Or maybe how
Ah,
long
I
does it
see, I
take to
see. It's
deliver
like,
the product from end to end, yeah.
yeah, because e-commerce is a platform for different
Mm,
independent sellers to register and
mm,
then sell the products. So there might be counterfeit
exactly, yeah.
products on the
Hmm.
website as well. And BI team can actually detect this. Maybe we can continue this example of what are the, I'm not sure, is it possible to share or is it sensitive
Um,
information? Like what are the criteria they look at to see, oh, this is a problem with the counterfeit, someone might violate intellectual property.
it's a bit confidential, I would say.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
that's okay then.
But it's a good question.
I mean, it's good. It's good to know that even this kind of violation can be
Mm,
tracked using data because I don't even think about it, and that's a good point because I used
mm,
to shop online uh, quite often, and I've seen like the same product, the
mm,
same advertisement, but it was sold at
mm,
different price tag.
mm,
Yeah. So then for me as a consumer, I have to go and look at the
mm,
credibility of the shop. Yeah, whether this one has more purchase and that one doesn't have many purchases. So I'm trying to like view it from consumer side. I didn't have any much data
right.
to check, but that's kind of a thing that give me confidence in whether this one is more authentic and the
Mm,
other one might be, kind of just faking it because it was sold at a lower price, sometime like half the price
mm,
of the one that was sold in a store that has
right.
more credibility.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
like it's not a
Interesting.
counterfeit, but then for example, there are some cases that sellers put as a KR origin items. But actually, when you see the pictures, it's not really Korean items. So we also wants to track whether it's a real like a local like Korean items, like KR origin item. Maybe you can also kind of check the item name in the
Oh.
picture.
Is that part of the JD, like job description role of a BI, or it's just like as a moral or like a legal, another aspect of legal part in detecting intellectual
Um,
property?
it can be a part of the BI because it also depends on the stakeholders' demand. But we use a technical method like
See,
we
see.
can check the item name, and maybe like we are usually selling like skincare or makeup product, but it's nothing to do with it. Maybe we can like discard it in the list.
You mentioned that stakeholder are really important because what they ask for the specific set of data determine how you would work
Mm.
around the raw data. Can you share with me like who are the stakeholders that you mostly work with in the company or like BI need to work with or they work with everyone or every line manager?
Um, we usually work with our peers, usually like on the same level. Well, sometimes we communicate with the higher level managers, but then yeah, but then we usually work in the like kind of the same level associate in the different teams. So it can be like more than 10 people for some teams.
Do you work with everyone in the team or there is like a key person, for example? Because I used to be in corporate and they have like finance,
Mm,
sales, marketing, and then human
mm,
resources, of course, information technology,
mm,
like all of the functions. And then BI sit in information technology under
mm-hmm.
the information technology team. And then they usually work with the line manager of each function.
Okay.
Does that is it the same way you
I
work
think it's
or?
more flat in my company. Yeah.
Oh, I see, I see. So it's like at the same level who would like to get some hands on
Yeah.
some data analysis, some data interpretation, and then they need to
Mm,
seek your help to interpret
mm-hmm.
the data for
Well,
them.
sometimes like if there's something like if there are some priorities that needs to be finished, then the managers will say, "Oh, can you prioritize this?" But then usually like I think like 80% I talk with like the same level associate in the different teams. Yeah.
I have some interest in
Mm,
machine learning as well. Are they like complete different thing or they are in some relevance between because they both deal with big
exactly. Yeah.
number, right?
We don't really work with the machine learning. The key role is that extracting the data using the programming language called SQL. But then like for machine learning, that's the usually the data scientists build a statistical model using machine learning. Yeah.
Okay, data scientists who work closely with the machine learning. So what is the single biggest misconception that people have about BI analysts? And what is the
Um,
reality?
I think it applies to my major, which is statistics. And some, and when studying statistics, I think there are some students think as long as we have like statistical knowledge and do coding well, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Mm-hmm.
while strong
Mm-hmm.
coding skills and knowledge are important for a BI analyst, but communication skills are, I think, just as crucial. So the core job of a BI analyst to take complex data and make it understandable. And usually they are non-technical stakeholders. And then sometimes they ask us to make a dashboard so they can interpret easily. Yeah. So usually I get the raw data, and then with the raw data I make a dashboard that helps to interpret the data. Yeah, you should, and that
Mm,
requires some like writing as Excel function as well.
I
So
see. I see.
although you might be great at writing queries and cleaning data, but if you can't explain the insights clearly and translate those findings, then I don't think your work would have an impact. So that's all what I would like to say about misconception.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. And I have seen it real life because I used
Mm,
to work in corporate and I've seen people with, I mean, talented people with high
mm,
specialized skills, but having trouble
mm.
communicating with the stakeholder, with the line
Okay.
managers. And no matter how good or
Mm,
comprehensive the data is, it's hard for them to convince the line
mm.
manager or the stakeholder about making
Right.
certain decision or kind of wrap their head around this complex
Mm,
complex conclusion. So I totally agree with you that
mm.
communication is still most important, even if you are specialized in hard stuff like math and
Right.
statistics.
I feel like they also appreciate like how responsive you are instead of like not replying it for a
Yes,
while and
yes,
then
yes.
okay, yeah. What did you say?
Do you have a specific example in mind that you find it interesting to share? Let's say about this specific communication scenario.
Specific communication scenario. That's a good question. Yeah, there are so many. Yeah, I'm working with like so many like stakeholders, so it's
Maybe pick up the more
most
recent
recent
one because
one.
you then you remember. Uh,
It's hard to pinpoint exact one example, but I think sometimes when
mhm, mhm.
you extract the data and then maybe you might confront a problem. And I think it's always important to
Okay.
like let them know, oh, I'm having trouble on this, and then how would you like to solve? And or maybe you can think of other
Mm,
alternative and suggest them instead of like, oh, it's not working.
mm.
I can't do that. Yeah, so maybe like, oh, maybe we can see in a different angle, and then we can, yeah, you can be more. I think it's good to be more proactive. Yeah.
That reminds me of a CEO
Mm?
here that I work with. He was complaining that his technical employee would just click on the computer and said doesn't work, doesn't work, and they do not do
Okay.
something else. I think that's a good
Mm,
example that you remind me of that. Like you still have to be proactive, communicate
mm.
that to the line manager in advance instead of just saying, "This doesn't work, the
Yeah,
data
so
doesn't
I
work."
it also translates to like problem solving skill with the communication. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Problems.
Hmm.
We fly by fast. Now we're moving to career paths and a little bit of future outlook. So you mentioned a little bit about your education in
Mm,
statistics, but what was your background and how did you specifically get into business intelligence?
mm.
Maybe education or certificate that you would recommend if anyone interested in
So
it?
I major statistics, and while I was in Sweden, I work as a credit risk data analyst in a bank. So business intelligence was something I haven't done before, to be honest. And Actually, when I was working as a
Ah,
credit risk analyst, it's more about the building predictive model of like predictive model for what is the chance of this customer would fail to pay back. So they can kind of
I see.
the bank can calculate the like a risk, so they can save up the
Wow.
money to prevent that. Can you understand? Like save maybe when it's not raining, you save up the water just in case.
Yeah, yes, kind of forecasting, but not based on weather, but based on specific number or pattern of their purchase.
Yeah, it can be like their habits or maybe their age group. So there are many variables you can choose from. Yeah,
Wow,
but
really
then
interesting.
I jumped into the business analyst intelligence because while I was looking for a job in South Korea, I kind of felt the job market
Mm-hmm.
was already pretty tough. But then there are not many roles related to data
Mm-hmm.
analyst open, so I kind of extend my search, including business intelligence, and then the role in Shopee came
Wow.
up to me, and then I was like, maybe I can try it.
Okay.
And then
And
yeah,
then here we are.
now I'm working mostly with the SQL extracting
Yeah,
data,
yeah.
also making a dashboard for
Mm,
them. Yeah.
mm,
And what education or certifications do
yeah.
I recommend? So in my team, there are like the
Yeah,
five
yeah.
people, including myself. And I think including
Okay.
myself and the two coworkers, they have a background in engineering, like statistics myself, and like management information system. But then there's other one
Mm-hmm.
colleague who majors management, and our manager actually he majored
Mm.
philosophy, which is completely different.
That's so
So it
random.
can be random. I mean, it's easier to have a degree in STEM field to be a business intelligence. But there are some cases that you learned it by
Okay.
yourself and then you picked up the skill later on in the career. Yeah. So
Mm,
yeah, I would say it's good to have a STEM field like a certificate like kind of like SQL certifications but then
mm.
you can be
S-
you can come from anywhere.
did you mention the team member you have background in engineer? Is it like engineer as engineer or data
He
engineering?
majored in industrial engineering. Yes.
Industrial engineering. And then he's interested in
Hmm.
number and then he can also be a business
Yeah.
intelligence analyst.
So he
Wow.
worked as a data scientist as well before. So, and then he thought that
Mm,
yeah,
okay.
business
So,
intelligence is more interesting because it's you actually interact with more like business leaders or business like the
mhm,
coworkers working in more business like department. So
mhm.
he wants to gain the view because he kind of has a dream to
Mm.
found the company by himself.
I see. So you're kind of interested in number and also want to get exposed to the
Exactly, yeah.
business size
Hmm.
of the company. That means it's kind of giving me some hopes if I'm interested in learning data because I'm jumping from
Yeah,
social
you can do
science.
that.
Um, I think we would probably need your recommendation on like which is the beginner course on LinkedIn or Coursera that I can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take some time to learn machine learning
Mm.
on LinkedIn, but then I think almost halfway through I feeling like
It can be
I
very
have to
complex. Yeah.
reconsider because this is not actually the beginner because they said it's a beginner, but I don't think it's
Mm.
beginner because they talk about Python, they talk about coding, which I'm like, okay, wait, I have to go back first. So then I
Mm.
take a break from it. So I think I would need your help a little bit in guiding, okay, what are the things that I can start learning if, let's say, I want to build some understanding, some business acumen in the next
Mm.
3 to 5 years? Because I'm fascinated about data. When I was working, even as an HR, because before becoming HR manager, I was also in learning and development. And usually we would look at the data of the online learner and try to understand what is the
Mm.
pattern, how would we design the next curriculum to meet the need of the
Mm.
learner, something like this. So I would be really uh, interested in all of this. So yeah,
I mean,
I would need your
even for
help with the recommendation.
yeah,
Perhaps you
even for
can.
us, the people who study statistics, machine learning can be overwhelming. Yeah, so don't feel bad about it.
So I think I need to start somewhere else, not right away
Mm,
machine learning. So maybe after the interview, you can share the link, and I can put in the description for our audience who, interested
mm.
in starting their interest as well, and then we get input from an expert. So I think it's good
Okay,
to
so
start
yeah.
somewhere. I think we touched base a little bit already on non-technical. Like let's say if someone wants to be a BI analyst, the skills in that is non-technical, that's most important to them. What would you
Um,
recommend?
I think I might be repeating myself, but then I would say communication skills. But I think you need to get along with like people because eventually, oh, you're yeah, you're mostly working with data, but then eventually you're working with people. So, so yeah, it's also really linked with the communication, but yeah.
No, I laugh because I remember some people want to go in data because they don't want to talk to people.
But even if you work as a data and scientist,
Because
you
they
need to
said,
talk with people. So maybe less, but you
yeah,
still need
but
to.
like some yeah, some introvert said that they choose data because they don't want to keep talking to many people, and that's why they choose certain subject that just try to limit themselves from talking.
Maybe
As it turns out, like you said, communication and building good rapport with people is
yes.
still important. Oh my god, that's
But
really interesting,
yeah,
and
maybe
it's so
data
true.
engineer, maybe they don't need the communication skills much as
Ah,
we do because they usually like work with the data
oh,
and
I
the building
see, I
the
see.
pipelines between the data. But then for BI
Mm,
analysts,
mm.
I think like I work with like 10 people, so you need to kind of build a good rapport and then kind of be polite to each other.
Yeah, yeah. So communication, interpersonal
Exactly, yeah.
skills, problem solving skills, those are three most important non-technical that are
Yes,
universal.
I think it's very universal.
Yeah, because we still need to work among other
Exactly, yeah.
stakeholders, right? So, how do you see BI analysts evolve in the next 5 or 10 years, especially with the
Mm.
rise of AI and, of course,
I
machine learning?
think that with the rapid rise of AI and machine learning, I also believe that BI is part of like part of the evolve over the next 5 to 10 years. Actually,
Mm,
like
okay.
even myself and my
Mm-hmm.
colleague, we use ChatGPT every day when we're stuck with the coding. Yeah, like you know when you think about think about like a decade ago, like memorize well is kind of
Yeah,
was an important skill back then, but not anymore
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
because you can Google or and you can use ChatGPT. So I feel like you don't have to memorize the exact syntax of the code as much as before, but you need to ask a question to ChatGPT.
Exactly. Like type the right prompt
Exactly.
to the
And then
AI
but then
to
you
get
still
your
need to
answer.
learn the knowledge because sometimes they give you stupid answers. So I actually like I have one stakeholder who's very confident about like ChatGPT, and then he'll code by himself with the
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT's, and then he's like, "Oh, I ran the code by myself, and then it looks wrong. What's the problem?" And then you can actually read it's
Oh
a
no.
ChatGPT generated code.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
the
so you
downfall.
need you
We
also need
become too
yeah,
complacent.
exactly. You don't yeah, you
Mm,
shouldn't blindly believe the answer, although it's very
mm,
useful.
mm.
Yeah.
That reminds me of how much we will be able to, how much we need to rely on our own hard work to get something
Mm,
done. And now, what we can do with ChatGPT is to enhance
mm,
our quality of thinking,
Mm,
creating, but they cannot replace because, like you said, they create errors
exactly, yeah.
and mistakes. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I think the revolution
Mm,
of this role will be impactful because the ChatGPT Gemini is collecting data every single
mm,
seconds of the day. Because when
mm.
we type in prompt, that the raw data set that we send to them,
But we
correct?
actually we don't send the raw data to them, but then we're like, oh, I'm stuck in this part when I'm writing the code. Can you help me?
Yeah, yeah, I understand that point, but it's like, for example, you type
Mm.
something in, they can convert it into data that they can
Yeah,
understand our behavior.
yeah. I understand now. Hmm.
So, want it or not, BI may be still so relevant in the next 5 or 10 years, even more relevant
Mm.
than today. Do you think that that would be the case?
Sometimes we were like, oh, ChatGPT is doing so well, so my our job might not be secure in the next decade. But maybe going forward, I
Ah,
think
I
the
see.
BI analysts will need to move beyond simply pulling the numbers. So I so, so we must like deeply understand the business context of the data, and then maybe connect
Exactly.
insights across cross-functional data set, and then proactively come up with actions to stakeholders, because that's something AI cannot do. AI doesn't know what your company is doing, right?
Wonderful. Business acumen and
Mm,
proactive problem
hmm.
solving skills. Yeah, those two are
Yeah.
critical.
Hmm.
Fascinating. Okay. Oh, we come to the last question. If you were to speak directly
Mm.
to a student or someone who would like to change their career, what is the best piece of advice for taking their first step toward learning or toward becoming the BI analyst?
I would say my best advice is to keep learning continuously, even if your current role is not directly related to BI. So I mentioned my mentor is from the philosophy major, and he's a BI analyst as well.
Yes.
So he actually like he actually picked up the SQL from his previous job, and because his manager asked him to do like extract the data because there was no BI around around the team. So the manager was like, "Oh, you do it." And then
Okay.
sometimes like some people don't like this, and maybe some people might choose to leave instead. But then he decided to remain, and maybe I can learn this skill. It might be useful in the future. So so eventually he made a transition from the business like business associate to the business intelligence analyst. And then I think he's the one who talks very eloquently among us.
Yeah, because he has the
So I
philosophy
think that's why he
background.
became the manager eventually, because he started with the same level,
Oh,
like same senior associate level, but then like later on the upper management picked him as a manager of my teams. I think like maybe that's why he was picked. Yeah, he's very eloquent. Yeah,
because in terms of technical, yeah, his skill is comparable, but he's eloquent in
exactly. Yeah.
communicating, dealing with um, managing up and managing down
Mm,
and managing peers
hmm.
sideways.
Yeah,
That's why he
exactly.
got.
Yeah. So maybe keep learning, even if
Thank you, Em.
so maybe you can also build a small portfolio like through side projects, and there's a website called Cackle, and there are a lot of
Okay.
raw data. You can get it for free, and you can see like other people like did the data analysis with the data with the raw data, and then you can see how other people do the job.
I remember hearing that website somewhere, maybe in the
Yeah, yeah.
machine learning class that I took,
It's one
but
of the biggest community site
yeah,
web, yeah, community website. Yeah.
because they said it's a
Hmm.
free data set, right? Free data set that we can just go in and then we can
Hmm.
do some simulation. But would love to get the exact link so I can
Mm.
pass it down for the audience
Yep,
if they're
I'll send the
interested
link
in.
later on.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. That's really inspiring to hear. Meaning that if you're interested in BI and you are now in your mid-career crisis, it's not too late.
Yeah, I think The manager, he was
You
born
can
in 89. Maybe you're not too late. Same
89.
age as Eileen.
Well, that's really great. Thank you so
Oh.
much, Aim, for sharing your
Mm-hmm.
wonderful experience and also pave the way for those who are
Mm-hmm.
interested in data and business. So it's kind of a combination, marrying between data and business together. It's not just cold data, cold number, but it's also what does this interpret into
Mm,
business decisions, and then proactively share with the right stakeholder to take certain decision that might impact the business
mm,
later on. Thank you for joining and sharing your time with me, and thank you, audience, for listening until this segment. So, if you find this interview helpful and inspiring, please don't forget to hit subscribe, and that would be a really good incentive for us as the host and the guest to keep bringing more inspiring story and career paths for you to listen. Thank you so much.